Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I'm joined with Taiwo, who's going to be telling us a little bit about his experience creating apps on the App Store and telling us about his incredible journey. Before we get into the rest of this interview, I wanted to highlight that Taiwo had the incredible opportunity to speak to the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, talking about his passion for using the Swift programming language and his passion for app development. So get your notepads and pens ready to make notes and listen to this incredible conversation that I have with Taiwo. Hello, Taiwo. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really glad to have the opportunity to speak to you. I would love to know a little bit more about yourself, your interests, and what it is that you do.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Taiwo. I'm an app developer based in Southeast London. I've been making apps for the last 10 years and I couldn't think of anything that I would rather do.
Can you please tell us a little bit more about your brain training app and your journaling app and tell us what inspired you to create those?
Yeah, no, great question. So earlier this year, I released my 10th game called 10 Games Daily Brain Training. And it's a collection of 10 brain training games that you play back to back. And then at the end, it gives you a score based on your memory, your vocabulary, your math skills, your reaction skills. And then that score is uploaded to a global leaderboard, and you can see how you compete and compare against people from around the world. I think the reason why I wanted to build something like 10 games was that there's a lot of brain training apps on the App Store, but a lot of them are really overcomplicated. And I wanted to make something that was really accessible, something that someone who was really young could play, but also something that someone who was, later on in life could enjoy as well. So I really wanted to make the most simple, accessible brain training game that really delivered value. And I recently added fact of the day, and I also added word of the day, which has really gone down the storm. People really, really enjoy those two new widgets and screens on the app as well to learn. Every day for me is a learning day, and I think people have really resonated with the app. So I'm super happy with it. And my second app that I released this year, an app called My Journal. I recently got into journaling, so writing down a journal at
Yeah.
the end of my day, and I wanted to make a digital version of it. So I had done a lot of research and wanted to scratch my own itch and create an app that was really tailored to me. I'm a very visual person, so I wanted to kind of lead with that visual style. So you can take pictures, you can also record voice memos as well as writing into your app, into your journal, and it saves the location. It's very visual, so you can look back and reflect on your moods on certain days
Yeah.
in a very visual way.
I think the common theme here is that you have a technical skill set and you've been able to use that technical skill set to create apps that are of interest to you, but actually to other people. And I say this because I see technology as a skill set that you
100%.
can apply to an industry for a particular outcome. And in your instance, it's like, you know what, I see there's a bug with journal apps. There's a gap that's missing here. Let me bridge that gap by using my technical skill set to create an app that's suited to me, but actually suited to quite a lot of other people as well. So it's really interesting that you shared that. I'd love to know the process from ideation to it actually being deployed on the App Store.
Yeah, great question. So for me, everything starts with writing down that idea that has come from my head. So maybe I should rephrase that and say it's an idea in my head that I then write down on a piece of paper. I carry a notebook with me all the time because I find that when I write things down, it stays in my head longer than if I pull it on my phone. So I think with the journaling, I still write things down, but also have my phone as an addition to that. So
Okay.
when it comes to creating a new app, I think of the idea, write it down, and then also make it visual. So I'll draw out screens of how the app might look. So I'll use my iPad and my Apple Pencil to draw out how it would look on a phone.
Yeah.
And then, and only then, do I start coding. So I don't start with the code first. I come up with the idea, make it visual. How do I want it to look? And then I start coding. And then from there, I start to ask people for their opinion on a mock-up or a beta
Yeah.
version of the app as well. And then from there, it's just constant iteration. So this feedback loop, I get feedback, work on the app, get feedback, work on the app. And then I release it on the App Store.
Okay. So it seems as though I guess you can now use your journaling app to write down ideas that you then create into codes that you then create into products that you then get feedback for. and you continue that loop.
100%.
And yeah, so I think it's really important, I guess, in the world of technology is the feedback loop and
Yeah.
actually being open to feedback, because it can only improve your processes, which is something I think we can shy away from quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
So, what is your programming language of choice in creating these apps, and why did you decide to use that programming language?
I really like Swift because, as the name suggests, it's very quick to make stuff. So you can prototype ideas very, very quickly. So you don't have to waste time actually fleshing something out to see if it's going to work well. You can come up with an idea, draw it down, and then start coding
Yeah.
very, very, very quickly. So I really like that programming language because it just makes things really, really quick
Okay.
to come up with an idea and to have something tangible on the phone.
So I guess the Swift programming language has helped the process from ideation to deployment go really quickly.
100%.
Because I guess you get the opportunity to see what it's like across the multiple Apple devices.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes it easier. I know in some instances, sometimes you have to change the code a little bit or try it out physically on another app, but the Swift platform allows you to do that succinctly across all the different devices.
100%. So Swift UI is a declarative programming language, and I think one of the main advantages of Swift UI is the ability that you code once and it looks great on all devices. So
Great.
it will look great on an iPhone, an iPad, and even on Mac OS if
Yeah.
you release it onto the Mac OS App Store. So it just makes it really flexible. And I think it's amazing that I can just write one piece of code
Yeah.
and the app looks great across all the different platforms.
That saves a lot of time
Yes,
and resources.
100%.
Yeah. So you've been in this app development process for almost 10 years. What is it that has led you to this point, has kept you committed and resilient to continuing? I guess you went through adversity and hardships. And, what makes this process fulfilling?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question, and I can't believe it's been 10 years. It's gone by so quickly. I think the thing ultimately for me is that I love the process so much. I've made 12 apps in the last 10 years, and every single one of them has just been such an amazing experience. The fact that I've thought of an idea, written something down, coded it, released it onto the App Store, and it's accessible to
Yeah.
people around the world still blows my mind. Still makes me wake up every single morning with such a vigor and such excitement to work on these apps, connect with the people that use my apps just to make the apps even better. And it hasn't been plain sailing. There's definitely been ups and downs. There's been adversity, there's been challenges. But I think with all of those things, I grow better as a developer. I grow better as a marketeer, as a QA, as a person, because all of these challenges make you tougher as a person, and you learn something from all of the challenges. So I think all I can say is here's to the next 10 years.
Wow. What do you see Vision 2030 looking like?
Yeah, no, great question. I see myself releasing more apps, connecting with more people around the world, and hopefully delivering value to those people. The feedback that I've gotten for 10 games, which has only been released in April
Yeah.
2024, has been overwhelmingly positive. I get emails and communication and correspondence from people
Wow.
around the world saying that they learn something new every day. They challenge themselves with their family or their group of friends to see who can get the best score every single day.
Yeah.
And that really fills my heart because, this is just an idea that I had. It's released on the App Store and it's adding so much value to people every single day. It makes me quite emotional thinking about it, but I think it's just such an amazing opportunity that you can think of an idea, release it on the App Store, and just help people from around the world.
I absolutely love that by you pursuing your passions, your creative interests, and your love for technology over the course of 10 years, you've got to this position where you're now sat next to Tim Cook and you're helping potentially change people's lives and bond families together, which is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much, Taiwo,
Absolute
for
pleasure.
joining me on this interview, and I'm hoping this video will inspire those who are looking to pursue careers within technology, but even looking for reasons to sustain their careers within technology and stay there, because hopefully from his story and his journey you can see there's just so much opportunity that's out there.
No, 100%. And if I could leave with just one piece of advice, it would be just to start, whatever idea, no matter how crazy you might think it is, just go for it.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I've come up with a lot of ideas apps that are in the App Store that are being used by people around the world. I've spoken to people and they said that's a silly idea. That's rubbish. Don't bother.
Yeah.
But just go with your gut and
Hmm.
just go for it. If you're passionate about something, don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anything stop you. Just go for it. And I'm really excited to see what everyone creates.
Yeah, and I think as well it's important to note that this journey took 10 years.
It did.
So, people would have been throwing their doubts and you could have given up early, but it's in the 10th year that all of your hard work is coming into fruition.
Yeah.
So when you are going through this journey, don't give up.
Yeah.
I
Be
always
resilient.
say, don't give up. Like my journey into tech took a year and a half. If I'd given up 6 months into what was a year and a half journey, I wouldn't be where I am today. If Taiwo gave up 2 years, 7 years into what was a 10-year long journey, he wouldn't be here sat with the CEO of Apple. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been an emotional journey, and I think what you're saying about resilience is completely correct.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Bye.